You pull down on the brim of your hat, letting the dust-caked leather scrape against your fingers. The shadow swallows your eyes, and with it, any trace of who you used to be. Every instinct in your body screams for you to stop, to turn back, to save yourself. But the herd keeps moving, and so do you, dragged forward by necessity instead of will. The whip cracks through the air with a violent snap, sharp and final. The sound cuts through the dust like a command your body obeys before your mind can argue. Your hands burn as you grip the reins. Blisters split open and bleed into the leather. Your thighs ache raw from days of riding, flesh punished into numb submission. The prairie has turned into a choking dust bowl, ground stained brown by countless hooves. Each step grinds the earth finer, until even the air feels solid in your lungs. You are not a gunslinger from the dime novels. Not a hero riding tall. You are a laborer, bent and exhausted, paid in pain and silence. The trail boss rides past you without slowing, his horse steady and strong. He doesn't look down because to him, you're part of the equipment. He doesn't offer water, not even a glance. Thirst is just another tool to keep you moving. His duster hangs stiff on his shoulders, soaked with sweat and grime from 100 other drives. It smells of old heat, old men, and authority that never doubts itself. That coat is his armor, his badge, his proof that he has survived by standing on others. Against the sun, he looks less like a man and more like a judgment. He pulls a Colt from his holster with casual precision, thumb resting near the hammer. The gesture isn't a threat, it's a reminder. Distance doesn't matter when power is involved. Even far away, the gun feels close enough to touch your spine. The wind scours your face like a sandblaster, relentless and cruel. Every gust strips away another layer of skin, another layer of patience. It cuts your flesh, burns your eyes, and fills your lungs with grit. Breathing becomes work, and work is all you're allowed to do. There is no romance here, no freedom in the open land, only dry grit between your teeth and the slow erosion of hope. Fatigue is no longer something you feel, it is something that presses down on you. It has weight, mass, and it pulls you toward the ground. You cough hard, deep from your chest, tasting iron on your tongue. The sound feels loud inside you, but outside it disappears. It drowns beneath the thunder of hooves as the cattle stampede through the canyon. The earth shakes, and so do you. This is the Chisholm Trail, carved by profit and blood. You are not remembered, you are burned as fuel. When the storm finally passes, the silence feels unnatural. The land holds its breath, as if waiting for the next cruelty. Now the prairie shows its final trick. The infestation begins, small and unseen, already winning. What crawls on you feels less like insects and more like instruments of torture. They do not rush, they savor. Your long johns hang gray and stiff with filth, fabric rubbed thin by weeks of neglect. They cling to you like a second, dirtier skin. You haven't changed them since the last outpost 3 months ago. Time slips by unnoticed when survival replaces dignity. Why would you change them anyway? Clean clothes belong to townsfolk and fantasies, not to the trail. The lice bite deep into your groin, sharp and intimate. Pain finds places pride wishes it never could. The crawling sensation spreads through your nerves, vibrating through your entire body. There is no single point to scratch, only panic. You realize the fight is no longer fair. Your enemy is small, patient, and everywhere. Sweat pours from your body, carving clean lines through layers of grime. There is no water to wash, only more dirt to replace it. Time begins to stretch and warp, moments dragging like years. Each second feels thick enough to choke on. Heat waves dance above the earth, bending the air into cruel mirages. Even reality looks unstable out here. The smell finally overcomes you, and you retch, doubled over. Your stomach rebels against what your life has become. This is no longer an adventure whispered about in stories. This is endurance, stripped of meaning and glory. The vermin work fast, relentless and efficient. Itching is the only language they speak, and your body understands it well. You scratch until your skin becomes a map of scabs and sores. Your own body turns against you, one mark at a time. The boys laugh when they see you. Their voices are sharp, cruel, and familiar with suffering. You pour whiskey onto your wounds, biting back a scream. Pain becomes medicine, because medicine doesn't exist. That whiskey cost your last wage, traded not for joy, but for numbness. Shame burns worse than the alcohol. Somehow you hold out. You survive the ride, if survival is the right word for it. But when you finally reach town, the real betrayal shows its face without shame. Civilization doesn't rescue you or offer relief. It simply finishes the work the trail already began. You wake up on the saloon floor with your vision swimming and your head pounding. Noise crashes in from every direction as boots and table legs crowd your blurred view, trapping you at ground level. Bodies are packed inches apart, slick with sweat, breath, and heat. There is no room to move, no clean air to draw in, no mercy for anyone already breaking. The air is thick with cheap perfume and what passes for tobacco. Every breath tastes like rot, dressed up as pleasure, sweet and sickening all at once. The enemy has arrived, but you cannot see him or feel the moment he enters. He doesn't announce himself, doesn't need to. He's already everywhere. He's microscopic, invisible, and relentless, while you stand completely exposed. Your body is an unguarded town with its gates left wide open. This is no party anymore. It's a sentencing carried out in silence. The verdict was decided long before you ever stepped inside. Pain blooms deep in your groin, slow and rhythmic, like a warning bell. Your body sends signals your mind is afraid to translate into truth. This isn't chafing or irritation anymore, not something that will fade with rest. Something inside you is rotting, quietly and patiently, without urgency. You suddenly understand that this could last for years, not days or weeks. Survival no longer promises relief, only continuation. The rash spreads outward, and you feel like you're burning from the inside out. Heat settles beneath your skin and refuses to leave. Desperate and frightened, you ask for a doctor, clinging to the word itself. It feels hollow and fragile the moment it leaves your mouth. The barman points toward a dark back room, shared by dozens of other desperate, broken men. In that gesture, hope shrinks to the size of a single coin. You pay anyway, even as doubt tightens in your gut. Useless hope still demands its price, and you give it everything you have left. You wait on a crate, pale and sweating, watching time crawl past. Waiting becomes another form of punishment layered on top of pain. He arrives in the morning, smelling of hay, animals, and stale work. Light silhouettes him in the doorway, like a bad omen given shape. Just hours earlier, those same hands were shoeing a mare in the stables. The work, you realize, never really changed. He doesn't wash his hands before touching you. Dirt and manure cling to his fingers like a promise of what's coming. Those fingers probe your ulcers, and your body recoils in silent terror. Horror locks your jaw shut as pain floods every nerve. He laughs and calls it Cupid's measles, as if suffering were a shared joke. His rotten teeth tell a truer story than his words ever could. To him, this is a rite of passage, something men are meant to endure. To you, it feels like the end of everything you were. You are one man against spirochetes, twisting and alive in your blood. The battle is invisible, uneven, and already lost. They multiply inside you, turning your blood dark and hostile. Your own veins become a road for the enemy. Your nervous system begins to shatter, signals misfiring and tearing apart. You feel like glass, cracking under steady pressure. You try to fight the delirium, clutching your head as the world tilts. Reality slips through your fingers, no matter how tightly you hold on. Shadows stretch and twist into bandits and demons watching from the walls. Fear gains shape, teeth, and patience. Someday, historians will write that you died of consumption, a clean, distant word chosen to hide a filthy truth. You rot alive, slowly and consciously, like a carcass left beneath the sun. Decay becomes something you can measure and feel. Across the room, another man collapses face first into a pile of poker chips. The game doesn't stop for him or for anyone. His face is eaten away by sores, flesh surrendering piece by piece. The future presents itself clearly, without mercy. The great pox has arrived, but it doesn't come alone. It brings indifference, routine, and acceptance with it. You gasp for moments of clarity as lesions bloom in your brain. Even thinking becomes painful labor. Suddenly, the pain begins to recede. Silence rolls in, heavy, unnatural, and absolute. You hear only your own shallow muttering, lips barely moving. Even sound feels like it's leaving you. Your body is full of mercury, poison mistaken for cure. Salvation has turned cold and metallic inside you. You stare up at a peeling wooden ceiling, memorizing every crack and stain. It's the last thing you know for certain. That's not clouds forming above you. It's smoke, thick with years of lies, regret, and cheap comfort. An oil lamp flickers weakly in the corner, barely alive. 1870, Dodge City. The date brands itself into the dark. Shame finally leaves you, slipping away without ceremony. There is no room left for it now. The sheriff wipes his boots on the floor, stepping over what remains of you. Order, routine, and authority continue uninterrupted. The undertaker appears in the doorway carrying a pine box. At last, someone has come to take you away.